Daniel Hayes stood at the front desk of the Grand Crest Hotel, holding his daughter Lily's tiny hand. They were exhausted from a long trip. Lily had fallen asleep in the car, and the storm outside was getting worse. The Grand Crest was known as a luxury mountain resort, the kind of place where people paid more for a night than some families made in a month. Daniel pushed his wet locks back and smiled politely. "Hi, I have a reservation. Daniel Hayes, checking in." The front desk receptionist, Victoria, didn't smile back. She gave him a slow, judging stare, the type that said, "You don't belong here." Her eyes scanned his simple hoodie and worn travel bag. She didn't bother checking the computer. "Sorry, we're full," she said flatly. Daniel blinked. "Full? That's strange. I confirmed my room this morning." She shrugged. "Well, things change. Maybe try down the road. There's a motel 2 miles from here. More your style." Daniel stared at her. He heard what she didn't say out loud. "You're black. You're a single dad. You're not one of us." He stayed calm. "Ma'am, I've already paid for my room." Victoria rolled her eyes, now clearly irritated. "Sir, I just told you we're full. And even if we weren't, this is a luxury hotel. Guests are required to meet certain standards. We don't just let anyone in." From behind the desk, her manager, Clark, walked out. He was tall, slick hair, expensive suit. He didn't bother hiding his disgust when he looked Daniel up and down. "Is there a problem?" Clark asked. Victoria smirked. "This man claims he has a reservation." Clark turned to Daniel. "This establishment has a dress code and an image. We can't just let random people from the street check in because they say they booked a room." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Are you refusing service to me and my daughter?" Clark folded his arms. "Yes, I am." Daniel exhaled slowly. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. "All right," he said simply. "I understand." He stepped away from the counter and dialed a number. Victoria leaned toward Clark and whispered, laughing, "He's probably calling his cousins to come fight." But Daniel wasn't calling a relative. He was calling his corporate assistant. "Maria," he said calmly, "activate Protocol 7. Yes, right now. I'm at the Grand Crest Mountain Resort. Send the legal team and operations unit. And contact the board." Moments later, 2 black SUVs with tinted windows pulled up outside the hotel. Guests stopped talking. Heads turned. Something was happening. 6 people in suits walked in, legal team and hotel executives. Victoria froze. Clark straightened up. "What's happening?" he said nervously. The woman in front, sharp voice, fierce presence, walked straight toward Daniel. "Mr. Hayes," she said respectfully, "apologies for the delay. We came as fast as we could." Clark's face twisted. His jaw dropped. Victoria looked confused. "Wait, Mr. Hayes?" The woman continued, loud enough for the entire lobby to hear. "We were under the impression that this hotel was prepared for your unannounced inspection. As the majority shareholder and billionaire investor behind the Grand Crest Hotel Group, your presence here should have been a priority, I assure you. The staff responsible for this incident will be dealt with immediately." Gasps exploded across the lobby. Clark stumbled backward. Excuse me? Daniel Hayes? That Daniel Hayes?" Daniel finally spoke, not shouting, just deadly calm. "Yes, the one who funds this entire hotel chain. The one who believed in kindness and respect. Values clearly missing here." Victoria turned pale. Clark tried to recover. Fake smile. Shaking voice. "Mr. Hayes, this is just a misunderstanding." Daniel stepped closer. "No, what this is discrimination. You didn't deny me because of my clothes. You saw a black man with a child and assumed we didn't belong. You judged us before you even looked at the reservation," Clark stammered. You have to understand." "No," Daniel cut him off. "You have to understand. Your careers here are over." Clark's face collapsed. Please don't." Victoria was trembling. "Sir, I didn't mean—" "You didn't have to mean it," Daniel said coldly. "You just had to show it." And you did. He turned to the corporate team. "Effective immediately, terminate both employees, and schedule mandatory anti-discrimination training for all Grand Crest staff." "Yes, Mr. Hayes," the team replied. But the reveal wasn't over. Daniel looked at his sleeping daughter and then back at the cameras now filming from curious guests' phones. "But before we finish," he said. "I have something to say." He stepped into the center of the lobby. If you're still watching this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications because stories like this must be told. And people like this must be exposed. Clark and Victoria were escorted out in front of everyone, shaking, embarrassed, destroyed. Daniel looked down at Lily, who was now awake. She rubbed her eyes. "Daddy, do people always have to be mean?" Daniel smiled gently. "No, baby. But sometimes, people need to be reminded who they're dealing with." He lifted her into his arms. The hotel staff lined up, respectfully as Daniel's assistant, handed him the keys to the presidential suite. "And Mr. Hayes," she added, "shall I proceed with the ownership transfer?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, as of today, this hotel is officially under my direct control." He turned to the crowd watching him. "And let this be a reminder, never judge a book by its cover. You just might be looking at its author." He walked toward the elevator with Lily. The doors closed. "Game over,"